Hello everybody. I need to make a video, so let's go. Let's talk about some custom transformers. I mentioned before that I really wanted to get into customizing transformers when I decided to start spending a whole bunch of money on stuff and found out that it's not so easy to just mix and match parts and do all kinds of cool stuff. It mainly just came down to painting and just stuff like that. Nothing terribly complicated except for one little guy, which I did take the time to make this Ratchet and Megatron, something that a lot of you might know going back to the original Transformers run. That horrifying image of Megatron and Ratchet, the ultimate Autobot Decepticon team up. Waka waka. Um, yeah, this was something that, man, could be kind of scarring on a young kid, seeing this image of Megatron and Ratchet glued together somehow. I think there was some kind of big explosion, and somehow that happened, and and then you end up with this amalgamation of Ratchet and Megatron, which I think off screen, somebody was able to. Was Perceptor still around here? I don't know if that. I don't think that is. This is in the latter run, issue 70. So this is 10 before the end. So the whole team was just your later generation Transformer toys, pretty much. You had Power Master, Optimus Prime here. You have another part of the plot here in this issue is Grimlock trying to bring the Dinobots back to life, I guess. I don't know. I haven't gotten this far on my reread of the series, but as I mentioned, this is just a freaking fever dream. These guys at this point, I don't know what they were working with. Everything seemed to match the toy line as far as characters go. There's a lot of pretenders here, all those kind of gimmicky things that signaled the end of the toy line. But we can reminisce about that later. Let's talk about the actual figure. I don't know how close we're going to be able to focus here, folks. But I took so I was going to say Legends of a core class, I think that's right. Core class, mainline Megatron, and a Ratchet. Found some on eBay. They were kind of older models, so they were a little pricey, especially for what I was going to do with them, just hacking them to bits. But yeah, you ended up with Ratchet's leg on Megatron's right leg, Megatron's arm on Ratchet's left arm, and then everything else would just split right down the middle. I'll throw up some pictures. I did document a little bit the process here of what happened. Um, I started with taking off. How did this work? I took off, well, Ratchet's legs. That's easy enough. They popped right off the Ratchet body, and then big chunk of um, there's a wheel in here. What is that? Oh, this was just a filler. Okay, that's just a filler. And yeah, in case you're wondering, this does not transform into anything. If anyone had a question about that, this does not transform. So I popped off Ratchet's arms, I cut the windshield, cut the roof here, and just glued that onto Megatron's body. This is just a filler. A large enough portion, I guess, had the tire attached, the wheel attached. This little, this didn't fit quite exactly. Unfortunately, how you have the peg on Megatron's body for the arms. Ratchet had a peg on the arm instead of the body, so that didn't quite match up quite right. So there is a gap here, which is kind of aggravating. But what are you gonna do? And then the leg. The leg was very easy. They have the same pegs and peg holes. I'm drawing a blank here. What is that called? So you could just pop on the leg. That was, oh, look at, that's right. Swivel, swivel there. Let's throw up another picture here of Megatron's right leg. So the right leg part of this was the tread for the tank um, for Megatron's alt mode. I just cut that off, sanded that down to make that more appropriate looking. And then that was the big part about that. Just getting that to look more comic book or cartoon accurate for the Megatron that turns into a gun. Yeah, the leg, actually going back to the leg, I had to kind of glue some bits here together because this was part of, like, it's the back of the ambulance that I decided to just glue in instead of just having this flapping around. And I think this part was something else I just cut and glued. So a little more hacking and gluing than I maybe might have want. Pick 3, part of the process. What part of the process was this? Adding Megatron's arm to Ratchet's arm. This was, I don't know if you want to call that ingenious, but there was a, maybe I had to drill a hole. Yeah, that was it. I think I had to drill a hole. There was this nice big open area in the bicep, Ratchet's bicep. I could just drill a little hole in there, sand down the peg on Megatron's arm, and just slide that right in, and voila, you've got his arm sticking out of Ratchet's bicep there. Ratchet's arm still moves a little there. Little Ratchet. No, there are no ratchets on Ratchet. Um, oh no. Okay, so I forgot about that. So this can kind of wiggle out of the slot on here. We'll just kind of move that back. Yeah, so that's the arm part. Let's see, what's the next picture we have here? Nothing terribly fancy or uh, innovative about just sawing the Ratchet's chest in half, that windshield. I just cut that off, sanded down a bit of Megatron's chest so this fit a little more flush on there, and just pasted that on there. And then the back, yeah, so Megatron had the treads to the tank on the back here that would flip up. I just completely removed that stuff. So pop that off. Let's throw up another picture here of Megatron's head. I just ground that down, or cut it and then ground it down a little bit with the old handy Dremel. Half of a head and then half of Ratchet's head. Just cut that sucker right down the middle. I think also, yeah, looking at this, I painted his head red to match the comic. I think the molding on the figure was just a white head. So I added a little paint to taste right there. And then the last bit that I documented was the leg here. Unfortunately, well, this is what, let me pop out of that picture. This is the whole leg of Ratchet that he would have had, not the cut down, kind of trimmed down leg that I made for his left side. Maybe I wonder why I didn't try cutting this, because it's really bulky. It's a really obvious kind of bulky thing. But what was cool about this is on the back of Megatron's leg, there was part of those treads, right? I think it was part of the treads for the transformation. I was just able to cut some of that off and then just glue the leg into that little peg. So you got a little movement, you got a place to put it, plus it moves a little bit. So that's cool. And that was that. And on the back, there was something about the that pistol barrel that I didn't like how it looked from the toy. So this part, I took a Lego something or other, a long kind of a pipe. I don't know, you call it a pipe piece, or you'd use it um, in like a castle. I'm pretty sure I took this from some kind of a castle setup. It was a column. There's the word. That's what we're looking for. Some manner of column. I cut that. I sanded down a bunch of stuff, glued it on the back. It looks, it does kind of look pipish there, but I think it does look better than the original thing that came with it. So I think that's okay. But yeah, there you go. A little bit of effort, a little bit of time, and you come out with the that abomination. Of course, there's no pained expression on his face, so it might not look that horrifying. But that's, I guess you'd call that an actual custom transformer, as opposed to some of the other stuff that I've done, just washing models to give them a little more weathered appearance. I'm not sure if that's so obvious, but various ways to make the robots look a little more weathered, and whether it's just a black wash, which is what I believe I did with Bludgeon here, just a black wash, and I mean it's doable. I could have done a better job there, but you could do that. And then there was his treads don't look very weathered so much. I thought I took like a gunmetal, um, a dry brush, maybe not. But that's another customized transformer. Same thing I did with detritus here. Throw a wash on him and he looks all dirty. So that's some of the stuff in Transformer land. Getting into, oh, don't fall now. Let's just put him down. Let's talk about Wood War. Oh, I hope this fits into frame. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Let's move this. Talking custom classified Joe vehicles. Here's an example of taking a pretty ordinary RC car you can pick up at Target or Walmart for about 30 bucks, um, and turning it into a vehicle. In this case, this is a Cobra vehicle here. That is still an RC, still an RC car. So I've driven this thing around a little bit just to show it can be done. Um, this was a camo. That's right. This was a camo body. I had to peel off all the stuff and then get rid of all that adhesive residue with some Goo Gone. Um, yeah, painted that red and black. Got some stickers here. Put some submachine guns on the front there. Um, and this was the 3-pack of Cobra dudes that I had stuck right on here. Little modification needed on the steering wheel column. And then at the bottom there, I had to cut a hole in the bottom on the firewall here just so their feet would go in there. And then on the back, cut off the tailgate. There's a little Cobra base here that I screwed onto the body so this guy has somewhere to stand, in which he doesn't really stay pegged in very well. And then, yeah, got a cool machine gun for the back there so he can have a little fun mowing down Joes. So that's a little more custom Joe stuff. I guess we'll wrap it up with that. And yeah, look ahead to the next video. We'll get some more Transformers going here. Maybe we'll talk Star Wars. I haven't talked Star Wars because I don't really want to talk Star Wars, but we'll talk Star Wars and how things were back in the day. And Star Trek. How about Star Trek? I've got a Star Trek figure somewhere. I got an Admiral Kirk from the motion picture. But with that, we'll wrap it up. I'll read some comic books and we'll have a discussion about the Transformers comic books. And I'll catch you all on the flip side.